And the fact that they are business friendly, they're supporting manufacturing in the country, and Orica has significant manufacturing assets in the United States, I am optimistic.
So a Trump win is good for business?
It's good for Orica's business, because if the focus is going to be in renewing and investing in infrastructure in the United States, building, for example, battery plants or data centers, all of those projects need a lot of resources, both civil resources and mining resources. And that's where Orica plays. So that's going to be very positive for Orica.
The bulk of your earnings, though, come from Australia, Asia Pacific. Then after that, it's North America. Are you going to look at further pushing into the US?
Absolutely. We've got now the manufacturing footprint. We've got our team in place. And when we talk about the region, we always consider North America, including Canada and Mexico. And there's opportunity in each of those three countries, predominantly United States. So we'll continue to invest in our plant capacity, in people, in growing our business, and supporting, obviously, the US economy as it develops going forward.
So does that mean Australia becomes even less attractive as an investment versus the US under the new administration?
Australia is always and will remain home market for us. We were founded here in Melbourne in Australia 150 years back. So it's a very, very important portion of our business. But to be clear, in the last 2 years, I have invested nearly $2 billion, Australian dollars, in the United States. And that was capital that has moved from Australia into the United States because the opportunities were there. So obviously, every opportunity to invest, you try to rank it in terms of business attractiveness, in terms of future growth potential, opportunities returned to shareholders. And the US came out winning in the last 2 years when we've done these investments.
This week on the program, Nouriel Roubini flagged the risk of a global slowdown if US President-elect Trump rolls out tariffs. How does that affect the rest of your operations, especially here in Australia?
Yeah, look, tariffs are a very blunt tool, so they obviously can be very effective, but they could also have a lot of collateral damage. Now, tariffs in our industry are not new. So in Europe, for example, there are tariffs on battery vehicles being imported into Europe. They have the CBAM. So, and the US, if they decide to implement tariffs, is something that we are used to working around. The big difference for Orica is that since our products don't like to travel, we obviously make and handle dangerous products. Most of our manufacturing happens in country. So we normally try and avoid that our products cross country barriers. Now, having said that, obviously it will have an impact on our customers. So if there are customers who are depending on free trade flows between different parts of the world, and that gets interrupted because of tariffs, that will have an indirect impact on Orica. Directly, I don't foresee too many impacts on us, in the short term at least.
Are you worried at all that Trump could slow momentum in the climate movement and unwind parts of the Inflation Reduction Act?
Yeah, we will have to see, right? I have not yet seen clear policy statements on what the US stance on climate will be. We in Orica, we will continue on our path for decarbonisation. I just announced that we have eliminated or reduced 43% of our Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions worldwide, including in our operations in the United States. So it's an initiative we drive across all of our own manufacturing footprint wherever they are in the world. Now, if you're talking about the United States, the policies in every country are different. We've got manufacturing in Indonesia who's got a very different policy to that in Australia. We are consistent in the fact that we would like to decarbonize our own operations and be carbon neutral by 2050. That will not change.
On green hydrogen, are your ambitions now further off after Origin walked away from the Hunter Valley Hydrogen Hub in October?
Yeah, they're clearly delayed. You don't like to lose a partner, and I have a lot of understanding for why Origin took their decision. It was disappointing, but I fully understand that. The situation doesn't change for Orica. My view is that our hydrogen project in New South Wales in the Hunter Valley is the most feasible hydrogen project in this country for two reasons. One is we consume the hydrogen ourselves. We don't have to find a home for the green hydrogen. Secondly, we are at a port. We've got our own ammonia facility there. We can convert that hydrogen into green ammonia and then either consume this for our own manufacturing or export it overseas. I don't think there's any other project with that kind of infrastructure and feasibility. So as I said, at that point of time, we are open for business. We're looking for partners, and after that, we've got a long list of approaches from people both in country, but also from overseas. At the moment, we are running through each of those ideas and proposals, and my expectation is within the next 12 months, either we have a new partner or we will shelf the project because then we've got other things to do.
The Australian government this week has put productivity squarely on the agenda. Is it doing enough to improve declining productivity?
No, it's not. one of the urgent burning challenges that businesses have, apart from all the other challenges. Inflation, costs going up, labor costs going up, energy costs going up, electricity going up, the pressure of decarbonization, low productivity. That's quite a challenge for any manufacturing organization like Orica's. So we need to do much more. We need to much more because we need to maintain our manufacturing base in this country. We need to get access to cost competitive raw materials and natural gas and electricity. The decarbonization initiative is a transition, it's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. So this is a 5, 10, 15, 20-year journey, and we need to be careful. Maybe learn from the experience of Europe how not to do things. A best planned transition is best for industry. It gives us predictability, and it helps us to then continue to make investments in Australia.
Back in May when we last spoke, you flagged high gas costs and labour shortages among your biggest challenges. Has anything changed since then?
Labour costs, so the challenge was getting labour, and then the labour was expensive. The availability of labour has improved, so you're finding it a little bit easier today to hire the people that we need to grow our business here in Australia. The cost is still high, that's quite clear. There's inflation here, everybody feels the pinch, and obviously salaries and wages are also going up there. So that has not really changed at all. In terms of make in Australia, future made in Australia, look, I'm a big proponent, and I'm a big proponent of manufacturing. We are one of the largest, oldest manufacturing companies in this country. My view, and I've said that publicly, is if you want to have a future in manufacturing, you need to preserve the present, because you need the engineers, you need the skill sets, you need the manufacturing infrastructure and technology, which can then help us to transition from conventional manufacturing to future high-tech manufacturing. If you do not have a base, you cannot start from scratch. So it's crucial any policy supports manufacturing in the country, and then leverage what we have, our infrastructure, our skill sets, and then enable future manufacturing in Australia. That's the best way to go.
You earlier flagged the risk of shelving the hydrogen hub in the Hunter Valley. What chance do you put on that?
Look, as I said, I'm running through a long list of interested partners. There's a lot of interest. If we cannot manage to build a competitive green hydrogen industry in this country, then where else? So there's a lot of interest. We are screening through the interest. We will continue to support this, but we are running out of time. So, and to be clear, there's no project without government subsidy, without the Head Start funding. If we put all of that together, I have a good partner. In the next 12 to 14 months, we'll take a decision. If we don't find a good partner, or if we don't have a feasible project, we will put this on hold for the moment.
Sanjeev Gandhi, great to speak to you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.